Okay. My name is Ambra Jensen, and this is my professional disposition video presentation. What is the teacher's role in supporting learning? Teachers should be able to enhance a student's learning by demonstrating the skills that they teach. The skills, the knowledge, the abilities. Basically, if you're teaching it, you should know it as well. But most of all, they need to be able to communicate and share this information with their students in a way that is engaging and accessible to every single child within their care. In Schulman's book, What a Teacher Should Know, he states teachers recognize individuals' differences in their students and adjust their practice accordingly. We should know exactly where our students are in educationally, where they're at in our class, and to be able to adjust accordingly so each student is getting the same level of education as everyone else in the class. Upholding professional expectations and advancing profession. Teachers continue their education and undergo trainings, whether of their own accord or trainings offered to them by their employer, which I, for one, greatly appreciate. They do these things so that way their knowledge of their teaching, their style of teaching, their curriculum, or the subject they teach is always up to date. They are always teaching the latest and greatest information for their students. Teachers, just like the subject we teach, should always be learning and evolving with their subject matter. Or, as they say, you should learn something new every day. Just because you teach doesn't mean you stop learning. We should be taking classes, collaborating with other professionals, or outsourcing material and information, so that way we are as informed about our subject as we hope our students are. Teachers also adhere to a number of ethical professional standards that help guide their growth as educators. These standards make sure teachers are treated equally and that they treat all their students with the same level as respect as we hope to be treated with our colleagues, with fairness and without bias. All our actions should be done within the best interest of the students. That is the goal at the end of the day. What professional disposition of learners do you currently possess that will make you a successful teacher? I am open to feedback. Tell me where I messed up so I can fix it. And I'm constantly asking for the thoughts and opinions of my colleagues. I currently work as a preschool teacher, as an assistant teacher, not a lead, so I'm always double checking myself, making sure that my way of acting with the children and the way of teaching the children is right and makes sense, and trying to add stuff to the curriculum and the daily schedule with the help of other teachers, making sure that it is what it should be, because at the end of the day I am still new at this and I don't know everything. I am also a multicultural female, and I think that being able to look at people with less bias is part of the fact that I came from two different backgrounds at the end of the day. I have seen and felt the bias of being in schools that we'll say are less diverse than what schools are today, and that knowledge I think will help me a better teacher in the long run, or at the least help me avoid cultural biases. I also believe that all students can learn. At the end of the day, it just takes patience. What dispositions do you need to work on before continuing to work in the classroom as a teacher? Growing my own knowledge. I am a procrastinator. At the end of the day, I am constantly procrastinating. I procrastinated in making this video. I procrastinated in getting my master's. I could have started courses months ago, and I just kept dragging my foot on the subject. So, actually going in for the information and learning more is the thing I need to work on the most. What effect could personal bias have on teaching and learning? Firstly, it can put unfair expectations on the growth and educational development of not only the individual student but of the whole class. It can cause inconsistencies within our teaching styles, in our treatment of each and every student of our classroom, and has the potential of turning our classroom into a hostile environment for individual students. It can turn the entire classroom atmosphere into something hostile. If you're not going to be nice, you shouldn't be surprised if your students don't play nice back. According to the expectations of the profession, how should bias be taken into perspective? Bias, for me, is a behavioral response towards another person affected by our stereotypes and our understanding of that person. So, stereotypically, we see Asians as being very smart, and that stereotype can affect how we would treat an Asian student. It's something that should be monitored and kept into close consideration as a teacher so that we can avoid any mistreatment or unfairness to our students and how they learn. Reflecting on your own professional disposition, I plan to have a good relationship with my colleagues so that I can openly ask for help when needed. I will try to know my students as individuals and take the time to teach them in a way they can understand and put into practice. I also plan to encourage peer collaboration in times of learning, knowing that sometimes you need the same thing said to you but by someone else. And most of the time, somebody on the same wavelength. It's one thing when your mom tells you something, it's another thing when your best friend tells you something. Well, that was my presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Bye bye.